iCkEdMeL on the check-in. I want to talk about Jeffery Epstein and Sandra Bland. Now, my time is limited again tonight. Sorry, I got to go pick up my daughter. Unexpected stuff. That's life. So I got to make do with what I can with the time that I have tonight, which is small. So Jeffery Epstein, according to the New York Post, they're saying that he was found in his jail cell with a bed sheet wrapped around his neck, tied to the top bunk. He was like leaning forward, kneeling forward. And that's how they're saying he committed suicide. A couple of things that were interesting today in the reports that I heard about Jeffery Epstein in the jail cell. They're supposed to check on those inmates every 30 minutes. They didn't check on him for a couple hours. The other thing is that there's no camera footage of Jeffery Epstein's cell. Now, it also brings me to, and I just can't help but think about Sandra Bland. Now, Sandra Bland, when I spoke about depression and the miscarriage situation, and she reported to police that she attempted suicide the previous year because of the miscarriages. A lot of people don't take miscarriage seriously. They think that women, when they lose a baby, whatever, get over it. It's a serious issue, and it's one of the things I brought up because I like to explore different angles. But the things that they were saying was that she hung herself with a plastic bag, which I found so hard to believe. That's a picture of her jail cell, so I don't know how it's possible. My theory, when I mentioned it previously in the other videos, is that maybe it's possible for somebody to strangulate themselves by tying something around their neck, tying it to a higher post, and just leaning forward, letting your circulation and air cut off. That's a theory of mine. I could be wrong, but it's just interesting. And not only that, Sandra Bland, she had cut marks and all that stuff on her arms, and they could tell by the way it was healing that it was previous. It wasn't done in the jail. So she's had some problems, some sort of depressive problems, and I think her family said they didn't know about it and didn't believe it. But a lot of times people go through deep things that they don't tell there's a lot of stuff I've gone through I've told nobody. These are almost two comparable deaths in a jail cell considered to be suicide. She's from a plastic bag, he's from the bed sheets. The weird thing about Epstein is that they took him off suicide watch, which I don't know why they did. And one of the inmates, previous inmates, said that to be taken off suicide watch, that you would have to be, you'd have to see a psychiatrist or whatever, and you have to do all these tests. And supposedly, Jeffrey saw a psychiatrist. I don't know, man. It's just too much craziness and messiness, conspiracy or not. I'll say this with Jeffrey Epstein, because a lot of times with these cases, you have to look at motive, right? You have to look at motive. With Jeffrey Epstein, there's a lot of politicians, man, that are going to be maybe breathing a sigh of relief, right? You had the Clintons that were mentioned in there multiple times. You had Trump that was mentioned in there as a friend or whatever. There wasn't anything concrete, but he was a friend of his. You have this Prince Andrew guy that was mentioned sexually with underage girls, and even Chris Tucker's name came up in one of the flights. Okay, weird stuff that these people up top are doing. So, I don't know. The other thing too with Sandra Bland is that they noted here from this article that there wasn't any defensive wounds, like she struggled to survive. You know what I'm saying? When somebody's going to be killed, if somebody gets shot, somebody gets stabbed or whatever, a lot of times they can tell by defensive wounds on their hands, their arms, and all that kind of stuff. And so, I don't know. You guys comment down below. Just a quick little update. Sorry I couldn't do anything special tonight, but I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, turn on the bells with notifications. And yeah, have a good night. Peace.